I was told that this poem is just being translated into Tamil by my good friend Shri. I think it's the 94th poem he's translated into Tamil. So I can't read you the Tamil version, so you'll have to do with the English. It's called Parallel Lines Do Not Meet. It was the only thing that I understood in maths. I like maths, but maths didn't like me. Happiness is not a mathematical formula that one can apply to supply an answer. Rather, it is the sum of who you are multiplied by who you are willing to be. Happiness, like mathematics, is something I was never, ever any good at, and always made me weep with equal parts desperation, exasperation, and frustration, or death for short. For example, if it took a man a lifetime to dig himself into a hole, how long would it take for half the man he used to be to dig himself out again? Questions such as this only cause me grief. In mathematics, like Latin, which I could also never know, I would cheat and repeat words full of sound and no sense, e.g., the cares of the hippopotamus are equal to some of the cares that the other two hippopotami can find. Happiness, like mathematics, was all Greek to me. I don't know, that's all I know. But I do know that happiness happens every now and then. The only trick is to be aware that it's there and that parallel lines do meet at infinity. Q-E-D. My marker is slipped out. This is called Oscailga in Irish, so I will translate as I go along. Dún na Sula, close your eyes. Cuddle go law my grosive, sleep until day, my gentle love. Cuddle go solve, sleep peacefully, peacefully. I rock and gallic shaw is rocking on green shafi. This moon will rise, this sun will set. Aragus graw igoni, care and love always. Gach ihes, gach laws, gach iha. Every night, every day, every night. My plurin, my storing, my mooring, my little flower, my little treasure, my little darling. Achinish, but now, cuddle go solve, go sieve. Sleep peacefully, gently. Gafanya on lay, the Misha and the Tave, until the break of day with me at your side. Losing our baby late into the night, holding this little thing that only attempted to be human, unable to let go, I clasped the fetus tightly in my hand and buried it in the dawn of our local park under a recently planted red rose bush. In my grief, flower and baby became one, and night after night I climbed over high railings and even higher stars to talk to her in the dark in Irish, or sing my love is like a red, red rose, or cry. Almost got arrested one night by an Irish cop, drawn to the sound of Irish emerging from darkness. Guess he let me go because it wouldn't look good on a charge sheet. The defendant was talking and crying to a flower in Irish. Eisht, listen. Dinna egin ekina, someone is crying in a darkness, in his darkness. Phil Aruno, oh, Phil Aruno is not in a gloom. Philarum a cooler store, oh. Agus chiffy to and glore, not in and down. Thank you. Really write new poems, and I always put them into my passport. I was going through Dublin Airport, and I was creeping, and he was patting me down, and he got to my bum, and he said, "It's this then?" And I said, "It's a poem." And then I felt guilty, but I said, "It's an unfinished poem." And he said, "All right, you better go away and finish it." And he made me take off my shoes as well, so now I always pat myself down, take off my shoes, and put it in my passport, and you go through the threshold of thought to words. And it's about my little girl. It's called Important c'est la rose. The important thing is the rose. Runs in from the garden, claiming, a rose bit me. No tears like the time when a bee bit me. This time only an awe as she witnesses the mystery of her own blood seeping from a little thumb. Amazed to see my insides coming out. Will I be all right? I kiss it better, reassure her, stop the flow. She a little disappointed that the drama has ended so undramatically. I think I'll go and let it bite me again. This is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy, which is the title of the book as it happens to. When I was small, family of 10, we didn't know anything about sex, it was that era of Ireland, but we all knew our birth stories. So I was 2 pounds when I was born. My sister was smaller than that. My other sister had the cord wrapped around her leg, just about to be born. And my other sister had the cord as thin as a hair, and is still up in Dublin in a glass as how thin an umbilical cord can get before the baby. So, I knew all this, but I thought that a chap could have 3 mammies. So I had my own lovely mother, Rita. I had my Auntie Mary down in Cork, and I had Mrs. Sweeney up the road. And my definition of a mammy was an emotional definition. Anyone who loved you to that great degree. And by that definition, my dad was the best mammy. So my mother had to take me aside and tell me that, you know Mrs. Sweeney, yeah? And I said, yeah, up the road, yeah. And she said, she's not your mammy, you know that. And I said, what? So I had a lot to learn. Jan is filling me in and all the sex things now and everything like that. And I'm coming up to speed at last.
He's a fast learner.
Yeah. Got a good teacher. This is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. And even though I had my own, I had her in loan. It was like having a spare mammy. And even when she was mad with us, she just couldn't be mad with us. Go on, she grinned, go on. You'd wear the heart out of a stone. And if you fell and you were crying, your heart and knee badly grazed or badly bitten by a bee, just like Tilly, she would hug you up with all of herself. Come here to me, you poor little dote. Wrap you up in so much love it would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney was my best friend ever, in the way back then. Still is, nothing's changed. Except those young fellas have become old fellas who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I can almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. This is my new book, although it's not very new anymore. And I was amazed to write this poem because it was such an ordinary thing. And I thought, what am I writing this poem for? And it was a poem about 1963, and I'm playing handball up against my uncle's whitewashed cottage wall, and I can't find the poem.
It's at the end.
Is that at the end, Lovey?
Towards the end.
This woman knows everything about me, I can't. Ball goes AWOL. That's what it's called. So, this little tiny moment that has no significance or anything like that is clear. I could turn around now and not step back into the past, but actually step back into that memory. And it'd be as clear as that. No division at all. So, 115 now. Sorry, Ray. It's very bad. Ball goes AWOL. The ball is laughing. It is having a great time being thrown against the wall. Whee! Screams its trajectory. Parabola, parabola, parabola. Hollers the ball. I throw it towards the wall, and the wall throws it back to me. Ball and wall and I having a fine old time. Again, shout both ball and wall. It is a fine thing for a summer day to contain. Human, ball and wall all enjoying the moment intensely. Memory will warp the reality and morph it to the movie continually replaying in my head. As if all happiness exists in this little snippet of time and space. Sam the collie leaps through the air and with perfect timing catches the ball in his mouth. Ah! Ah! Screams the ball. Damn! Damn! Shouts the wall. Hey! I holler. But Sam is gone, smiling all over himself. Where he drops the ball, I never get to know. The ball has gone AWOL for well nigh over 50 years now. The wall is no longer standing. Sam is now only a black and white photo. Only I and the moment keep happening in the attic of my head. Finally, I thank you to finish. My little daughter had reached her third year of being herself, and we had 33 of her little peers around to prove this fact, and they all loved jelly. Blue jelly, orange jelly, yellow jelly. Green jelly was the favourite for some reason, and we ran out of green jelly. So I had to go back into the kitchen to get the green jelly. And I was coming back in, and there was uproar in the room. And I thought, how could 33 and a half little girls make so much noise? And I was very scared. I thought something had gone wrong, obviously. And as I approached the door with the jelly, the noise cut, just like that. Now I was even more horrified by the silence. And I was just about to turn the knob, and the door opened up, and 33 and a half little girls ran all over me, stampeded all over me, and this is what they said. The dog is in the loo! We was teaching him to pee, and he just fell in. When you want to write poetry, get yourself a 3-year-old little girl.